Luo Fan unexpectedly travels through a world of floods and wastelands. Due to his simultaneous transformation, he unexpectedly became a fellow brother of the Luo Throat, the demon ancestor of the demon clan. In order to save her life, Jiang Fan prepared to stay away from the conflict, but suddenly was pulled into a chat group with the heavens. Helping group members can earn points, which can be exchanged for cultivation and spiritual treasures. Luo Fan began to deceive his friends, develop the demon clan, and strengthen himself. Assist Emperor Qin Shi Huang in his longevity and create the great Qin demon clan. Assist Zhu Yuanzhang in preserving Empress Ma and Zhu Biao, and create the great Ming demon clan. Still fooling a yellow-haired traveler, joining the demon clan, and beating the 7 gods when countless worlds were invaded by the demon race. Luo Fan devoured many heavenly ways and refined them in his body. By the end of the Dragon Han Rebellion, when Honghuang joined forces with the other 3 major Taoists to try to eliminate Luo Gue, Luo Fan appeared and raised his hand to suppress many powerful abilities. Tiandao. Where did this goods come from? My cultivation is higher than mine. No, I need to find the Dao Dad. The Dao. I can't beat him either. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Coming to the Flood and Wilderness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the beginning of the birth of the universe, there was an innate mixed elemental spirit, which was the founding elemental spirit. One of its magical treasures, the Genesis Qinglian, gave birth to chaotic demons such as Pangu. Later on, Pangu, one of the chaos demon gods, wielded a divine axe to create heaven and earth, and established the 4 major chaos elemental spirits, stabilizing the wasteland space. The 4 major chaos elemental spirits gradually evolved into the 5 elements of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth in the postnatal world. In the process of evolution, as chaos nurtured Pangu, 3 great chaotic mythical beasts emerged. Ancestral Dragon, Yuan Feng, and Shi Qilin. The 3 chaotic mythical beasts each gave birth to their own lives, giving birth to the dragon race that commanded the scales and ruled the oceans, the phoenix tribe that leads the birds and controls the sky, the Kirin tribe, who leads the beasts and controls the earth. The era of a world dominated by 3 ethnic groups has arrived. Due to the increasing number of members within the 3 ethnic groups, various conflicts inevitably arise between them. With the passage of time, coupled with the wanton instigation and conflict of the demon ancestor Luo, their luck was destroyed. The 3 ethnic groups began to fight against each other, causing serious damage to the world of chaos. There is no one among the 10 living beings, and many ancient divine beasts disappear. The 3 tribes have also suffered significant damage to their own vitality due to years of bloody battles. In the wasteland of the West, spiritual energy swept into a huge seal, and the blood and resentment of the dragon, phoenix, and Qilin clans were inexplicably drawn into the seal. The essence, blood, resentment, and energy of the 3 ethnic groups merged into spiritual energy. The originally intangible and intangible spiritual energy began to emit bursts of black energy, and the demonic energy began to emerge in patches. After an unknown amount of time, endless demonic energy filled every corner of the seal, like a black sea, surging day and night without interruption. The originally light blue seal has now been infected and looks shaky. One day, the sky and earth changed color, sand and stones flew away, and the black sea was 1,000 miles away. With a loud roar, the seal collapsed. Endless magical energy rushed towards the collapsed position in the Black Sea, and 2 shadows, one large and one small, appeared in the deep pit. The larger demon opened its eyes, and the heavens and earth trembled again. Thunder exploded in the sky, and strange phenomena continued to spread in the wilderness. The smaller demon also opened its eyes, although there were also anomalies, they were much smaller and less. When the demonic aura dissipated, a lineup of 2 figures emerged. In the larger shadow appeared a young man with red hair and a strange face, dressed in black armor. standing with a long spear in hand, and 4 long swords of different shapes floating behind him, shrouded in a demonic aura. It was Luo Ting. After countless years, I, Luo Ting, have finally been born. In the smaller shadow appeared a young man with black hair draped over his shoulders, fair skin, and a handsome face. He was dressed in a purple-black Taoist robe, suspended with mysterious patterns, sitting cross-legged on the ground. He opened his eyes, and his deep eyes seemed to contain endless depth. Compared to Luo Yan, he is more like a cold and aloof exiled immortal. At this moment, Luo Fan was very confused. When he opened his eyes, he saw a fierce and helpless figure standing beside him. However, his eyes, which were originally full of fighting and killing intent, turned into a friendly expression when he saw him. Second brother, you have also transformed. All of our brothers have transformed. From now on, Brother Wei will be the first Demon Ancestor, and Brother Xian, you will be the second Demon Ancestor. Let's work together to expand the territory of the Demon Clan. At this moment, Luo Fan realized that he had fallen asleep while squatting in the pit. The good news was that he had not fallen into the pit, but the bad news was that he had crossed into a dangerous and wasteland world, and had become Luo Fan's younger brother who would die under Honghuang's command in the future. Feeling the cause and effect that had befallen Luo Fan since he admitted to his second Demon Ancestor identity, Luo Fan wanted to curse his mother. Damn it, I'm going to die. I was just an ordinary person before, and coming to the wilderness is not a dead end. With just his small physique, going out may only take a minute to get into the belly of a ferocious beast and turn into a lump. Big brother, I think we need to consider in the long run. The outside world is very dangerous and difficult to grasp. Luo Ting frowned, feeling that his second younger brother seemed a bit timid. We are the incarnation of the demon god and have had cultivation since our birth. Now, I am the cultivation of the great Luo Golden Immortal, and even you should be the same. Well, why do you only have the cultivation of the heavenly immortal? Luo Ting was confused. He thought his cultivation level was similar to that of his own brother, but at first glance, it seemed like a big difference. From low to high, the realm of the primordial world is divided into earthly immortal, heavenly immortal, true immortal, golden immortal, Tai golden immortal, Daoyuo golden immortal, and Honghuang golden immortal, saint. My younger brother is only one level higher than the earth immortals who have fallen into the category of food, and not much, after all, it is only the early stage of the heavenly immortals. Later on, Luo Fan seemed to have thought of something and looked at Luo Fan with an apology. I believe it was during my transformation that too much demonic energy plundered you, causing damage to your natural foundation and insufficient cultivation. Oh, it's all my brother's fault. But don't worry, your identity as the second Demon Ancestor won't change. In this world, I will help you defeat it, brother. Luo Fan quietly rolled his eyes and said helplessly, brother, are you the Luo Jin Xian? Luo Ting nodded with a hint of pride, that's right. In the early stages. Well, that's right. Brother, do you know how many the Luo Jin immortals are outside now? How many are there in the early stage? How many are there in the middle stage? How many are there in the later stage? Luo Ting was confused and shook his head in confusion. That can be said to be countless, and now my cultivation is low, and you are only a junior level of the great Luo Golden Immortal. You are both difficult to defeat with 4 hands, and if you go out, you will only encounter danger. If you have an accident, how should the path of the demon clan go in the future? Luo Fan lowered her head and frowned, unsure of what to do. Her voice rang out again, I think big brother, as the Demon Ancestor, your wings are not yet full, so you should be cautious. We need to temporarily hibernate, at least until you reach the later stage of cultivation to be more stable, because if you are not defeated, at least you have the power to escape. Upon hearing this, Luo Ting nodded heavily. Second brother said well, that's all. As the words fell, Luo Ting eagerly sat down and began to practice. Endless demonic energy surged violently again with Luo Ting's cultivation, rushing into his body in a hurry. Luo Fan also tried to cultivate, but there was a cultivation technique in his mind that came with it. However, it seemed useless because all the magic energy had been sucked away by Luo Fan. Luo Fan sat aside with a worried expression on his face, unsure of his future. Just then, a sudden sound rang out in Luo Fan's ear. Zhutian chat group invites you. Luo Fan was taken aback for a moment, followed by a moment of joy. The ancient sincerely did not deceive me. As a traveler, how could I not have a golden finger? Luo Fan had a sudden idea and agreed to join the chat group. Based on your own situation, we have generated a nickname for you, Second Demon Ancestor. Do you need to modify it? Luo Fan thought for a moment, deleted the second one that was I. Catching in front, and then clicked confirm. The next moment, a chat page appeared in front of Luo Fan, resembling a chat group page from a previous life. At the top is the group name, which is the Zhutian chat group, and on the right is the group member list. At this time, there are only 2 lonely people, one of whom is him. Chapter 2. Chat Groups. You are listening at novelfull.audio. New member, Demon Ancestor, has joined the chat group. A prompt appeared on the page, and not long after, the only remaining group member sent a message, Eternal Emperor. I have been here for 3 years now, and I should be a hero of the time to join. Can you introduce yourself? In the state of Qin, Yingzheng, dressed in a black imperial robe, knelt on the throne, listening to his courtiers discussing political affairs below. He seemed to be disturbed by something and raised his hand to signal that the entire court instantly went from noisy to extremely quiet, with needles falling in the air. Luo Fan became interested in this nickname and started sending messages with his mind, Demon Ancestor. As the current Demon Ancestor, I entered this place by chance. I don't know what this place is and what its purpose is. Eternal Emperor. I don't know where this place is, I only know that I can use the so-called check.in function every day to earn points, and sometimes there are tasks to be released. Completing them can also earn so-called point rewards. Demon Ancestor. Thank you to my group, I am researching and researching. Yingzheng was taken aback, group friends. What is this title, but it sounds good. Well, group members can explore on their own. If you don't understand, you can ask me. This chat group is incredibly mysterious, appearing out of thin air. Yingzheng felt that this item must be not simple, perhaps it was his great opportunity. Originally, he checked in every day, but couldn't see anything else that would make him give up this seemingly useless thing. Today, Luo Fan's arrival gave him a glimmer of hope. Luo Fan studied for a while and found it to be very simple, with only a few functions. The first one is the check.in function, where daily check.in can earn 1 point. The second one is video uploading, which can be set to pay for viewing, set your own threshold, and can also receive points. The third one is item uploading, no matter what, as long as it is not a live object, it can be uploaded, and of course, points can also be distributed as red envelopes. The fourth one is the task panel, which is now empty. It must be the place where you can earn points by completing tasks, as mentioned by the Eternal Emperor just now. The last one is what Luo Fan is most interested in, the points mall, where he can exchange points for anything, but it should be something he has in his own world. He tried searching for his phone but didn't find it. Most importantly, points can be exchanged for cultivation in the points mall. The Earth Immortal Realm only requires 10 points to level up, while the Heavenly Immortal Realm requires 100 points to level up, and so on. Each realm increases tenfold. This excites Luo Fan immensely. In a world of chaos, it is not difficult to improve one's realm, and it is not easy to say it is simple. Those who are good at following the footsteps can improve easily, but the time consumed is terrifying. It can take hundreds or thousands of years to level up, with each realm divided into 9 levels. The first to third level is the initial stage, the fourth to sixth level is the middle stage, and the seventh to ninth level is the later stage. Taking the lowest level Earthly Immortal as an example, even if they have good talent, it will take at least 10 years to level up. When they arrive at the points mall, they don't do tasks. It takes 10 days to sign in, and then they will level up in 10 days. This speed makes even Honghuang envious, and the entire wilderness will go crazy. Luo Fan couldn't wait to experiment and upgrade the function, but looking at his pitiful 1 point, he still managed to sign in and get it. Luo Fan once again sighed, even in the wilderness, he was still poor enough to take off. After thinking for a moment, Luo Fan stood up and went hunting. Why are you hunting? Nonsense, although immortals don't get hungry, it's hard to change the habit of eating at midnight. Group member, Magic Ancestor uploaded a video, which members can pay to watch, with 100 points per time. Zheng, who was going to court, was once again interrupted by a video uploaded in the group. Looking at it once with 100 points, Zheng frowned lightly. He had been in the group for 3 years and had some points, but 100 points was not a small amount, about 1,000th of his savings. That's right, Zheng has over 100,000 points in his hands. In addition to earning over 1,000 points through 3 years of uninterrupted check.in, he has also done a lot of tasks in the group. Spending money, Zheng's curiosity is still very strong. He wants to know what the things in the video are, and they are worth 100 points. Pay, watch, and start playing the video. In the picture, a figure wearing a purple-black Taoist robe appears, while facing him is a huge celestial beast. In contrast, the figure is like gravel. With a roar from the giant beast, Zheng felt a bit dazed. The next second, the originally small figure suddenly grew larger, and a huge demon body appeared that covered the sky and sun. With a gentle finger, it was accompanied by a cold but solemn voice, "Evil beast, in front of the Demon Ancestor, you will not be executed yet. Heaven and earth lose their color, rivers flow against each other, mountains and earth shatter, and the once huge celestial beasts are easily suppressed." At this point in the scene, Zheng clenched his fists, disregarding his presence in the court, and suddenly stood up from the throne, his eyes full of shock. Retreat from the court. Let's discuss national affairs later. As he spoke, he hurriedly left, leaving the bewildered courtiers below looking at each other. Immortal. This is a fairy. This group friend is actually a fairy. In this group, there are not only ordinary people like him, but also immortals. Although I am the leader of a country, watching the scenes in the video shows that I am not on the same level. If I receive the help of immortals, my ambition to unify the 6 countries is not easily obtainable. As for whether the video is fake or not, it's impossible. Zheng has tried it before, but it was not personally experienced or recorded, so it cannot be posted, so it cannot be fake. Eternal Emperor. Demon Ancestor group friends, is this the person in this picture you? Demon Ancestor. Exactly, this is the video I casually recorded when I went hunting. Zheng was once again deeply shocked. In his own eyes, he was like a giant beast that destroyed the world. In the eyes of this immortal, it was just food. How strong was this immortal's strength? Group friend Eternal Emperor has sent out a red envelope, please collect it in a timely manner. Eternal Emperor. This is my king's intention. I hope the immortal can accept it. Luo Fan clicked on it with great interest, and it turned out to be points. A whopping 58888. Zhenggu is grand. Demon Ancestor. You're too polite. With so many points, you've spent a lot of money. Eternal Emperor. Since everyone has entered here, it's fate. We should help each other. Luo Fan chuckled as he looked at Zheng's words. The key point of this Eternal Emperor's words may be in the 4 words of mutual assistance. But I also appreciate it, after all, I really need points now. Due to the wave of Zhenggu, Luo Fan's wealth has increased to 58,889 points. According to the rules of the points mall, when he reaches the level of the heavenly immortal realm, he earns 100 points. When he reaches the peak of the heavenly immortal realm, he earns 800 points. When he reaches the peak of the true immortal realm, he earns 9,000 points, and when he reaches the peak of the golden immortal realm, he earns 90,000 points. Chapter 3. Realm Enhancement. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. If you can't reach the peak of the golden immortal realm in the later stage and don't have enough points, you can upgrade as much as you want. Points. 800, reaching the peak cultivation of the heavenly immortal realm in the later stage. With a score of 0.9000, you have reached the peak cultivation of the immortal realm in the later stage. Points. 10000, level 1 in Golden Fairyland. Points. 10000, Gold Fairyland level 2. Points. 10000, level 3 in the Golden Immortal Realm. Points. 10000, Gold Fairyland level 4. 9089. After upgrading, Luo Fan directly stepped from the first level of the Heavenly Immortal Realm to the fourth level of the Golden Immortal Realm, becoming a mid-cultivation Golden Immortal creature. And the points also quickly shrunk, leaving only 9,089 points, which is not enough for upgrading. But this also satisfied Jiang Fan enough, as it had already reduced his cultivation time by at least several thousand to tens of thousands of years. Luo Fan's breath began to soar rapidly, and countless demonic energies were forcibly pulled and gathered around him. Luo Fan frowned and woke up from his cultivation. He pinched his fingers and calculated the time, only to pass in less than half a day. Luo Yan felt a bit depressed. Who dares to snatch the demonic energy in front of his demon ancestor? But looking back, Luo Yan's chin was almost startled. He saw the demonic energy surrounding his second brother, forming a huge black ball. The demonic energy was so strong that he couldn't see his second brother's figure at all. When Luo Fan sucked all the magic energy into his body and refined it, he opened his eyes for an instant, and a red light flashed through his eyes. Then he saw Luo Fan squatting in front of him with a curious baby on his face. "Big brother, are you awake?" Luo Ting said angrily, "You stole all the magic energy, what can I do without waking up?" Luo Fan felt a bit embarrassed when he heard this. He didn't expect that consecutive breakthroughs would cause this situation. "But with such a big commotion, I believe you must have made a breakthrough in your cultivation. Let me take a look." Not bad, level 4. "You're amazing, second brother. You've broken level 3 in a row." As he spoke, Luo Fan suddenly stopped and twisted his neck a bit stiff. He looked at Luo Fan's face, which was much more handsome than himself, and asked, "Second brother, your cultivation level was before Heavenly Immortal, right?" "It's not that I had a bad memory, it's Heavenly Immortal, right?" "Well, indeed. You're at level 4 now, Golden Immortal level 4. "Well, that's right. You. Half a day. You broke through the Heavenly Immortal, the True Immortal, the Golden Immortal, and even reached the 4th level of the Golden Immortal." "Well, that's also true." Luo Yan looked up at the sky and felt the motionless cultivation in his body. "Second brother, you should be the big brother. You should be the first demon ancestor." Luo Fan was taken aback and quickly waved his hand. "How can we do that? Big brother has unparalleled talent and transforms before me." "Of course, you are big brother, and the first demon ancestor is undoubtedly you." Luo Ting remained motionless, maintaining a posture of gazing at the sky, but his eyes were shaped like dead fish. "You have unparalleled talent. What you said in this sentence is right, right. You. Half a day, 3 levels and 4 levels. No, big brother, you misunderstood. Half a day, 3 realms and 4 levels. Big brother, your strength is stronger than mine. Half a day, 3 levels and 4 levels. Big brother, your realm is higher than mine. Half a day, 3 levels and 4 levels. Luo Fan. After all, Luo Fan finally dispelled Luo Gui's idea of becoming the first demon ancestor. However, Luo Fan looked at Luo Gui with a fierce face in the distance, and his speed of absorbing demon energy was twice as fast as before. Hey, this little brother is not easy to be. Luo Fan, who had regained his senses, sat cross-legged on the ground again. The chat group function was too practical, ignoring the accumulation of cultivation and forcibly breaking through. Moreover, his realm was extremely solid and his foundation was incredibly solid. Just now, Luo Fan personally investigated and found that his foundation was even stronger after breaking through. For other members of the group, this function can only enhance their corresponding world realm, such as Jiang Ji's world, which can only increase his physical strength, which can be terrifying when it comes to himself. However, this rapid breakthrough also revealed a problem for Luo Fan. There will definitely be more after his own rapid breakthrough, and such a big move is a bit awkward. Mainly because he was worried that if he tried again a few times, his cheap brother's heart would collapse. Reminder. The points mall can be redeemed for a permanent feature. Abyssal masking. Below the heavenly Tao realm, any illusion can be masked. A set of Luo Fan's eyes, and does it still have this function? 500 points, spent. This way, I won't have to worry about making breakthroughs in the future. His points are only over 8,000 now, and he needs to find a way to earn them himself. Luo Fan opened the chat group again, and at this moment his eyes were full of enthusiasm. However, despite bearing such a great love, although there is no cause and effect involved in crossing the heavens, Luo Fan still knows about human and worldly wisdom. Luo Fan also sent a red envelope, Demon Ancestor. I can't be stingy because the Emperor is so generous. This is my intention. Please accept it. Yingzheng is a little uneasy at this time, because he found that after he sent the message, the immortal did not respond. Does he say that his ideas were exposed too hastily, which made the immortal unhappy? Yingzheng held the book, but his thoughts were completely absent from it. The attendant beside him dared not say that he had taken the book of the King of Qin in the wrong direction. After the news appeared in the group, Yingzheng threw the book away. Eternal Emperor. Thank you very much, Demon Ancestor. Then I will accept it. You all go down. Looking at the empty study, Yingzheng could no longer suppress his excitement and clicked to claim the red envelope sent by Luo Fan. A leaf, a sugar bean. Leaves are not ordinary leaves, with intricate runes painted on them, occasionally flashing with a hint of black light. And sugar beans are relatively ordinary, looking just like regular sugar beans. Eternal Emperor. May I ask the Demon Ancestor, what is the purpose of these leaves and sugar beans? Demon Ancestor. I have left runes on the leaves, which give me a 100,000th power strike that can be used when facing strong enemies. As for the other one, it is not a sugar bean, but a pill that has the effect of maintaining youth forever. Yingzheng was shocked and maintained his youth forever. As the leader of a country, there was something he couldn't control, which was longevity. However, this pill, similar to sugar beans, showed him the dawn of immortality. Compared to the leaves mentioned by Luo Fan, he doesn't really care. Although he knows they may be quite powerful, the power of 100,000 is a bit small. Yingzheng looked at the pill and originally wanted to find someone to test it, but there was only one pill. What should I do? If I wanted another pill, Yingzheng couldn't open his mouth. Yingzheng saw the bamboo slips and knives carved on the side, and had an idea in his heart. Looking at the attendant in front of him, from white-haired to black-haired, Yingzheng was once again shocked. He personally went forward to inspect and found that the attendant had even grown missing organs, which was less than a quarter of the effect of a pill. Someone. Chapter 4. Integral Tasks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Two elite soldiers from the Qin army entered the study, and Yingzheng's expression was indifferent, with a wave of his sleeve, drag it down and deal with it. The attendant's expression was greatly surprised, Your Majesty. Please spare your life, Your Majesty. Yingzheng remained motionless. You still have 2 daughters and 1 son in your family, I will treat them well. Go ahead. The attendant was taken aback, his body was limp, and he knelt down to kowtow. Thank you, king. Zheng waved his hand and the sharp warrior approached, dragging away the attendant. As he was about to leave, Zheng gave another command. I went to the head and stayed guard for 12 hours. If nothing happened, I came back to report. No. Zheng sat down, not because he was ruthless. The effect of this pill is so amazing that no one else can know that the inner attendant is going to die, and these two sharp warriors are also going to disappear. Luo Fan was unaware of the situation on Zheng's side, and with nothing to do, he could only hunt and make a living by grilling meat every day. Are you talking about cultivation? What are you practicing? Without the system provided by the Points Mall, only Luo Fan's magic energy absorption speed is as fast as Ya's water pump. It's strange that Luo Fan can compete with it. In the group, I occasionally saw Jingu bubbling up recently, but I haven't seen any bubbling up recently. I believe he is busy building the foundation of the Great Qin. Luo Fan was grilling meat while looking bored at the group, bored. While Luo Fan was preparing to close the chat group, he suddenly noticed a red dot on the task panel in the group task. Assist group friend Eternal Emperor, to complete the unification of the Empire. This task is a phased task to assist the group friend Eternal Emperor in defeating 4,000 points in South Korea, 6,000 points in Zhao, 8,000 points in Wei, 10,000 points in Chu, 12,000 points in Yen, and 14,000 points in Qi, completing the complete national annihilation, sweeping across 6 countries, and receiving an additional reward of 6,000 points, totaling 60,000 points. De Hua. This is a big job. 60,000 points. I can break through the golden immortal myself. And there's still left over. Demon Ancestor. The group mission has arrived, have you seen it? At Eternal Emperor. I did not see the mission, did the Demon Ancestor see it? Luo Fan frowned. Is this task only visible to himself? Demon Ancestor. Eternal Emperor, have you received the mission recently? Eternal Emperor. There are several tasks, mostly collecting some items. Luo Fan suddenly realized, so group tasks are for individuals, not for the entire group. During this period, I have been staring at the group task almost all day, and I can confirm that there is not a single task. Today is the first task. Demon Ancestor. Eternal Emperor, to be honest with you, I have received a mission to help you destroy the other 6 countries. If you need anything, please let me know. Qin Huangdong, Zheng was taken aback by the news. He really wanted to start his plan to overthrow the 6 kingdoms, so this group started issuing missions. So helping this king, is this group created by the ancestors of the Great Qin? No, Zheng shook his head. If the ancestors of the Great Qin had this ability, they would have ruled the world long ago, and it would have been their turn to fight for the remaining 6 generations. Eternal Emperor. Our king has not yet officially started the plan of destruction. If necessary, we will definitely inform the Demon Ancestor. Luo Fan looked at the news with a smile on his face. With 60,000 points, he has developed. How can I help Jingu? Do talismans act as bombs? Blow it all the way. This is quite simple, but it will make one's talisman seem worthless. Although it is indeed not worth it, after all, picking a leaf and drawing a rune can take less than 3 seconds to make one. Of course, making 10,000 together can also take less than 3 seconds. After racking his brains for a reward, Luo Fan suddenly had an idea. In the Qin Palace, Zheng pondered the plan in his mind. Eliminating feudal lords, establishing imperial business, and unifying the world is the strategy of Wei Liao to break through the alliance of the 6 states. Simply put, it is to win over Yan Qi, stabilize Chu and Wei, eliminate Han and Zhao, and then break down each one to unify the world. Zheng walked up the palace wall and looked at the lights under his feet, feeling a surge of pride in his heart. I have accumulated a wealth of ancestors in the great Qin dynasty, and now I still have immortals to care for me. This world will definitely belong to me, great Qin. The last wishes of all Qin kings will be fulfilled in my hands. In the winter of the 11th year of King Zheng of Qin, 236 BC, while the two countries of Yan and Zhao were engaged in a fierce battle, Qin sent Wang Jian to lead his army to attack Hu. Wang Jian was dressed in battle armor and looked at the towering city in front of him. He was a strategic location in the Taihang Mountains, which was easy to defend but difficult to attack. Even Wang Jian's attack was quite difficult. But this battle is the initial and important battle of the Great Qin, and cannot be defeated. Wang Jian sat in the camp, his brows furrowed, and had been besieging the city for 17 consecutive days. Although his army and horses were tired, he still tried his best to defend it. Coupled with the cold weather, the Qin army suffered considerable casualties. Most importantly, when the Yan and Zhao countries reacted, the next battle would be difficult to fight. The deputy general on the side looked at Wang Jian, hesitating, and Wang Jian snorted coldly, "If you have something to say, just say it, if you have fart, let it go." "A man, de Qinlang, how can you act like such a hesitant daughter?" The deputy general smiled bitterly and arched his hand. "General, the war is currently stalemate, and the last general is also feeling a headache." Upon hearing this, Wang Jian sighed, "How could I not know, but there's no good way. It's difficult to find a good location. I heard that before the general set out on the expedition, the king once handed him an item. Why don't you open it and take a look?" Wang Jian was taken aback and remembered the wooden box that Zheng had given him before his expedition. Wang Jian found the wooden box, placed it on the table, and carefully opened it. After opening it, Wang Jian's face looked puzzled, and the deputy general stretched his head to take a look. "Is this a leaf?" In such a cold winter, a leaf is still emerald green, truly magical. But what did the king give me a leaf for? Wang Jian also saw a piece of bamboo with a few words on it. If encountering obstacles, you can tear open the leaves or have a miraculous effect. Wang Jian picked up the leaves, his eyebrows almost twisted together. Leaves. Wonderful effect. Wang Jian and his deputy remained silent for a long time, and then Wang Jian was so angry that he left the leaves behind. Nonsense. How could the king make such a joke? The deputy general was startled and quickly picked up the discarded leaves. "General, it's also a gift from the king. You shouldn't be so disrespectful." Wang Jian glanced at the deputy general, who was blowing and wiping fiercely. He was about to grab the leaves, but the deputy general was afraid that his general would get angry and could only hide. However, Wang Jian was agile and managed to touch the leaves. The two of them competed, and the leaves were torn in half. Wang Jian stopped, and the deputy general also stopped. At this moment, both of them were mouths wide open. After the leaves shattered, the runes on the leaves detached and hung in mid-air, and 4 figures filled with black energy appeared out of thin air in the camp. According to the order of the Demon Ancestor, we can only maintain 1 stick of incense under the jurisdiction of the auxiliary rune. If there is anything that needs to drive us, please let us know as soon as possible. The deputy general was still confused, but Wang Jian regained his senses and tentatively spoke up. "Our army is attacking the city. Can you help us solve the resistance in the city?" Chapter 5. The Beginning of War. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Can. One of the 4 shadows walked out of the tent, and Wang Jian was curious to follow. The shadow raised its hand and then swung it fiercely. Wang Jian held his breath and stared fixedly at the positions of the K and the city gate, but he didn't see anything happen. As he watched, the deputy general beside him tugged at Wang Jian's belt, pointing towards the sky. Wang Jian instinctively followed the direction of the deputy general's fingers. A giant palm covering the sky appeared, and the people in K and the city looked at the huge palm prints in the sky, looking bewildered and murmuring, "Heavenly punishment, heavenly punishment has come. The gods are angry, heavenly punishment has come. All the stationed Koreans have laid down their weapons, and at this moment, everyone has no intention of resisting. The South Korean defender was also shocked, but still raised his long sword and shouted loudly, "Don't panic. This is Qin's trickery. It's all fake. Everyone pick up their weapons." Despite the constant shouting of the generals, it still had some effect, and a small number of people picked up weapons again and walked up the city wall to block the city gate. The giant palm descended, and the people holding swords in the palace and the city gradually dissipated like burning candles, while those who gave up resistance were unharmed. The Koreans opened the door themselves and knelt down to welcome the army of Qin into the city. Wang Jian found it unbelievable even when he entered Chueha city. The four figures had already dissipated, but the torn leaves were put back into the box by Wang Jianzhen, and more importantly, when Kay and the city were captured, Wang Jian did not take them as prisoners, but instead released all of them. Half a month later, Wang Jian and Yang Duanha's army attacked Honghuang without any obstacles, leaving Yang Duanha puzzled. Wang Jian patiently explained that although he couldn't believe it, he still had to acknowledge this bizarre phenomenon. Kay and the city were destroyed by the giant palm in the sky, and all those who resisted disappeared without a trace. The remaining people said it was a divine punishment, and these people were released by Wang Jian. One person said that perhaps some people suspected it, but when thousands of people said it, this matter was a definite fact. The ancients feared the gods. After all, humans could not fight against the heavens. Under the punishment of heaven, there was no way to survive. This is also why the Qin army could capture Honghuang city without spending a single soldier. A battle report from Wang Jian was urgently sent to the Qin palace from 800 miles away. Yingzheng burst into laughter after reading it, and also gained an understanding of the power of this demon ancestor. With only 100,000th of its power, a city could be easily destroyed. With all his might, it is estimated that the 7 countries, including Qin, will have little chance of survival. This incident caused Yingzheng to be wary of Luo Fan's power, but at the same time, he was grateful that he had obtained this opportunity. If anyone from the other 6 countries gained this power, then he and the great Qin were on the verge of collapse. Thinking of this, Yingzheng opened the chat group again. Eternal Emperor. Demon Ancestor, your talisman has already been used by the king, with astonishing power. You have helped the general under our king solve a big problem. Demon Ancestor. General. Who, Bai Qi? Wang Jian. Or Meng Tian? No, Meng Tian hasn't become a general yet, has he? Eternal Emperor. How could the demon ancestor be so familiar with the people under my king's command? And who is Meng Tian? Demon Ancestor. Don't be surprised. This place can be considered a heavenly mystery. Although it spans thousands of worlds, I can still calculate some things. Watching the news, Yingzheng was once again shocked in his heart. He had crossed countless worlds and could still be considered a great general under his command. What great power was this? It seems that Meng Tian himself needs to pay attention to what Mo Zhu said. But what made Yingzheng more concerned was still the Qin. After thinking for a moment, Yingzheng asked, Eternal Emperor. May the demon ancestor calculate the fate of my great Qin. Demon Ancestor. In theory, the secrets of heaven cannot be revealed, but we are destined. It doesn't matter if I tell you 1 or 2. Demon Ancestor. The great Qin will complete the great cause of unification in your hands, and during your reign, you will have a harmonious government and people. Under your leadership, the great Qin will reach its peak. Yingzheng looked at Luo Fan's speech and began to smile. No wonder when he joined the chat group, the system automatically matched him with a name. Oh no, it's a nickname, called the Eternal Emperor. It turns out that fate has its own destiny. Demon Ancestor. However, Yingzheng was just happy, but the Demon Ancestor almost caused you to dodge your waist. You quickly waved away all the attendants, and Yingzheng quickly asked, Eternal Emperor. Demon Ancestor, don't speak halfway, but what? Luo Fan is pondering whether to reveal history, as it may cause significant historical changes. But Luo Fan thought again, what are he afraid of? It doesn't have much impact on oneself. Demon Ancestor. However, the great Qin Hui too died. Yingzheng's face turned pale instantly. Impossible, impossible. How could my king's great Qin fall to the death of his second emperor? Impossible. Impossible. But thinking of the immense power of the Demon Ancestor, would he deceive himself into being an ordinary person? Eternal Emperor. Demon Ancestor, is there a way to change one's destiny against the heavens? Demon Ancestor. It's not easy to change one's destiny against the heavens, but if you have a connection with this constellation, you can give it a try. Eternal Emperor. Please help the Demon Ancestor. I am willing to give everything. Power, wealth, beauty, as long as I have them, I can offer them to the Demon Ancestor. Demon Ancestor. That's not necessary, after all, these are useless to me. Group friend Eternal Emperor has sent out a red envelope, please collect it in a timely manner. Group friend Demon Ancestor has received a red envelope. Points plus 58888 Jingu is grand. Demon Ancestor. Cough cough, you're welcome. Since that's the case, I can't be stingy. I'm giving you a method that can be used for cultivation and can achieve longevity. In addition, there is another method that you can give to reliable people. Although you may not be able to achieve longevity, your lifespan will be extended, and the lowest one can also extend by 100 years. Group member, Demon Ancestor uploaded 2 jade talismans. Eternal Emperor. Thank you, Demon Ancestor. Yingzheng eagerly received the jade talismans, 2 thumbs long, which appeared in his hands. According to the instructions of the Demon Ancestor, they were pressed against his eyebrows and focused. Yingzheng felt a momentary daze in his mind, and then arrived at a space where heaven and earth were indistinguishable. A person appeared in front of him, and the acupoints on his body lit up one after another. At the same time, a stream of air appeared in Yingzheng's body, flowing along with it. I don't know how long it had been, but Yingzheng's consciousness returned and he stood up. He felt as if his body had inexhaustible strength, jumping around casually and almost rushing out of the palace. He also fully understood the cultivation method, which is called the Demon Infant technique. It is divided into 9 layers. Practicing the 3rd layer can obtain a lifespan of 10,000 years, practicing the 6th layer can obtain a lifespan of 1 million years, and practicing the 9th layer can achieve the same lifespan as heaven and earth, achieving eternal life. He obtained another technique using the same method, called the Heavenly Sha technique, which is indeed much worse than the Demon Infant technique. It is also divided into 9 layers. Practicing the 3rd layer can obtain 1,000 years of lifespan, practicing the 6th layer can obtain 10,000 years of lifespan, and practicing the 9th layer can obtain 10,000 years of lifespan. However, the entry threshold is extremely low, and reaching the 1st layer can obtain 100 years of lifespan. Chapter 6. Qin's Destruction of the 6 Kingdoms. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On Luo Fan's side, after Yingzheng started practicing, he found a black lotus emerging from his body. Originally, Luo Xian was born with spiritual treasures such as the Divine Killer Spear, the 4 swords of the Immortal Slayer, and the 12th rank Black Lotus. However, after his arrival, Luo Xian only had the Divine Killer Spear and the 4 swords of the Immortal Slayer. The 12th rank Black Lotus appeared inside his body, and Luo Fan tried to activate it, but there was no response. After trying a few times, Luo Fan no longer cared. Unexpectedly, there has been a strange change in this 12 Great Annihilation Black Lotus. Below the Black Lotus, a thin black thread appeared at the root system, connecting it to the void. Luo Fan, holding a Black Lotus in his hand, closed his eyes and sensed that he had crossed the endless void, saw the great Qin, saw the Qin palace, and saw Yingzheng in a black robe. Luo Fan opened his eyes and was pleasantly surprised because besides being able to see Yingzheng, he also felt a very weak enhancement in his strength, almost non-existent. However, this was just Yingzheng alone, and his level was too low. When his level was high, the increase might have been significant. The Mo Yingju and Tian Sha Ju he gave to Yingzheng were actually derived from his companion's cultivation techniques, but the threshold for his cultivation techniques was too high, and it was Luo Fan who simplified them countless times before they could be handed over to Yingzheng. Originally, I just wanted to help Chief Yingzheng survive and become stronger under his command, but who knew there was such an opportunity? The Heavenly Sha technique was quickly promoted by Yingzheng as a trusted confidant in the military. At first, it was not obvious, but it only had the effect of strengthening the body and health. However, as the war progressed, the cultivation of this group of people began to rapidly increase, with infinite strength and flying over roofs and walls. These people were individually reorganized, bestowed by the King of Qin, and the Great Qin Demon Army. The emergence of the Great Qin Demon Army led to a major change in the attacking strategy of the Qin army. They did not pay attention to strategy, pushed horizontally all the way, and were unstoppable, almost crazily attacking cities and territories at a speed of 6 months per country. 3 years later, the capital of Qi was destroyed, and Qin completed its plan to sweep the 6 states and unify the world. Luo Fan watched the video of Yingzheng declaring himself emperor sent by Yingzheng, and nodded in satisfaction. Our political brother declared himself emperor, so we have to express ourselves. Luo Fan summoned the Black Lotus, and by this time, many root systems had already appeared below the Black Lotus. Luo Fan had a deep understanding of the Black Lotus, and it was not until a moment later that he opened his eyes again. And on Yingzheng's side, standing on the altar, holding the offering incense and inserting it into the cauldron, at this moment, a sudden change occurred. A strong wind suddenly swept over Yingzheng's body, and he, dressed in an imperial crown, flew straight into mid-air. Yingzheng was startled, but after seeing the news in the group, he was relieved. Demon Ancestor. Don't panic. Today you proclaim yourself emperor and I'll give you a big gift. Yingzheng waved his hand to signal the panicked officials of the Qin state. Today, I have established an imperial system and become the first emperor. Miracles have been descended from the heavens, so there is no need for the people to panic. As Yingzheng's words fell, 9 black dragons suddenly appeared behind him, each about 1,000 zhang long. After flying out, they intertwined and turned into a black and gold-colored seat. Countless figures appeared in the sky, shining with golden light, like celestial beings in the heavenly palace. An old man in official uniform, standing 100 zhang tall, holding a silk cloth and speaking loudly, Yingzheng, has virtue and wisdom, is recognized by heaven, and is revered as the first emperor. As the words fell, countless figures in the sky bowed and saluted, farewell to the first emperor. The people of the Great Qin Dynasty all showed their fanaticism on their faces, farewell to the first emperor. The remnants of the 6 kingdoms had a pale face and knew that the restoration of the country was futile. In addition, upon seeing this miracle, their hearts turned against it and they kowtowed and knelt down. The miracle disappeared, and the ceremony also ended. Returning to the palace, Yingzheng eagerly opened a group chat and sent a message. Eternal Emperor. It seems that a new person has arrived. Come out and have a chat. Demon Ancestor. Yes, the newcomer has arrived. Come out and have a word. Beggar Emperor. Who are you? Where is this place? What is this transparent square in front of us? Eternal Emperor. I am Emperor Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng. This is a chat group. If you can join this group, I believe you are also a member of the same faction. Demon Ancestor. I won't say my identity anymore, just call me Demon Ancestor. Beggar Emperor. Qin Shi Huang. Demon Ancestor. Alright, where are you thieves from? Play with us here. Luo Fan didn't want to speak anymore. When he saw the name, he guessed who the newcomer was. He came from a beggar background and became an emperor, but who else could he be? He was the founding emperor of the Ming Dynasty, Zhu Yuanzhang, and Lao Zhu Bai. Eternal Emperor. Bold. I am the first emperor of the Great Qin, and the Demon Ancestor is even more of a heavenly immortal. How dare you call us thieves? I originally wanted to introduce you, but if you look like this, that's all. Both Luo Fan and Yingzheng stopped talking, and Zhu Yuanzhang himself uttered a few more words before continuing to explore on his own. It has to be said that Lao Zhu is still very smart. In half a day, he figured out the various functions of the chat group and also saw the emperor claiming video sent by Yingzheng and the hunting video uploaded by Luo Fan. The same shock, the same awe, the same excitement. Beggar Emperor. At Qin Shi Huang, are you really Qin Shi Huang? Beggar Emperor. At Demon Ancestor, are you using immortal means? Eternal Emperor. Not bad. Demon Ancestor. Nature. Old Zhu was confused and suspected that he was dreaming. He was able to converse with Qin Shi Huang, who had been dead for 1,000 years, and immortals. It was so dreamy. Eternal Emperor. Demon Ancestor has tremendous power. If you offend me, no one can save you. Watching both emperors, Yingzheng softened his heart a bit and gave some advice to old Zhu. Beggar Emperor. Yes, 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 it's our fault. We speak without hesitation, don't blame the two of you. Beggar Emperor. At Demon Ancestor, you are a fairy. We have something to ask, may I ask? Demon Ancestor. You're not polite. If there's anything, let's hear it. Beggar Emperor. It's like this, our girl's health has been getting worse and worse this year. The imperial physician says her life is only a year, and I don't know if the immortal can pity us and save our poor girl. Luo Fan frowned, thinking that if Lao Zhu could be called a girl instead of a concubine, it would only be Empress Ma. To be honest, Luo Fan had read Ming history and it was a pity that Empress Ma had passed away. The story of delivering cakes with burnt chests has been widely circulated by Lao Zhu, and as the protagonist, Empress Ma has been greatly admired by Luo Fan. With such a wife, there is no need for a husband. Demon Ancestor. Seeing that you and Empress Ma are deeply in love, I helped you with this favor. Luo Fan lightly twisted his fingers, and a pill appeared out of thin air. After thinking for a moment, he twisted out 2 more pills, Demon Ancestor. Here are 3 pills for you, your sister, and your son. Beggar Emperor. Thank you, Demon Ancestor. Great kindness cannot be repaid. In the future, you can do whatever Demon Ancestor asks us to do. We can give you this as a gift. Beggar Emperor. But let's talk more. We have many sons, how do we divide one? Demon Ancestor. Give it to your eldest son Zhu Biao. If you don't eat it, I believe your son will leave you in 10 years. Chapter 7. Old Zhu's Surprise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Old Zhu was shocked, will Biao or die? Die in front of oneself. Or later. Lao Zhu wanted to ask clearly, but Yingzheng answered him first. Eternal Emperor. The Demon Ancestor can calculate the world, and the death of my great Qin too can be calculated. The fate of 1 or 2 people is also certain. Just listen and handle things. Old Zhu was both surprised and delighted. What surprised him was that this immortal had the ability to calculate the fortune of heaven and earth. He was pleased that he had met him early enough to save his sister and son's lives. Old Zhu received the pill and hurriedly rushed to the Empress Ma's palace. He also ordered Erhu to go to Zhu Biao and the Empress Ma's harem. Lao Zhu knew that elixirs, as divine things, could not be spread externally and could easily cause trouble. Mainly handling government affairs, I heard from afar that Erhu was urgently urging him to go to Empress Ma's palace. Thinking of Empress Ma's recent health, Zhu Biao's face turned pale and he rushed to the palace anxiously. He didn't even wait to get his carriage ready, so he rode straight to Empress Ma's palace. On the other side, Luo Fan was attracted by the strange movement beside him, and it turned out that Luo Feng had woken up. "Big brother, it's only been 3 years, why are you awake again?" Luo Ting's forehead was bulging with veins. "You bake this and that every day, without practicing for a day, even if you have good talent, you cannot be so corrupt." Luo Fan suddenly realized that during his cultivation, his divine consciousness had not been completely sealed off, leaving a trace outside. He was originally trying to prevent other tribe members from harming his younger brother while he was in seclusion, but he only saw him hunting and grilling meat every day, then staring blankly at the void. Unable to bear the situation where his younger brother was so corrupt, Luo Gui had no choice but to leave the level. He needed to educate his younger brother well. The future of the demon clan is still uncertain. What should he do after such a fall? In 3 years, even if you can't break through the golden immortal, there should still be some slight progress. Every day is so abandoned. Look at your realm, it's still only. Luo Fan stuttered and his eyes widened wide. He was afraid that he would pop his eyes out. The function purchased by Luo Fan could cover up anomalies, but it couldn't prevent others from detecting his cultivation. Therefore, Luo Fan immediately recognized his realm at a glance. In the early stage of Tai Golden Fairyland, Luo Ting is numb, and cultivation becomes more and more difficult as he progresses. After 3 years of closed cultivation, he can see that reaching the golden immortal realm requires millions of years of hard work for each level of improvement. As a brother, he hunts and grills meat every day in a daze. After 3 years, he became the Tai Golden Immortal. Luo Fan felt some liquid flowing from his eyes and was greatly surprised. "Big brother, why are you crying?" "Second brother, are you human?" "No, we are all demon tribes, or demon ancestors." Luo Ting's mouth twitched. "Our brothers are both demons, why did your realm improve so much?" "So." Luo Yen can't think of any adjectives anymore. When using exaggeration, he even wants to ask exaggeration. "Do you deserve it?" Luo Fan chuckled. "Big brother, it's all opportunities. Luo Fan's eyes lit up, he squatted down, picked up Luo Fan's skewers, stuffed them into his mouth in piles, muttering while stuffing. "Can eating improve cultivation? I'll give it a try too." Luo Fan thought Luo Ting was hungry when he saw his eating habits, so he quickly took advantage of Luo Ting's eating and roasted it as soon as possible. In this way, a roasted spark splattered everywhere, and a skewer that was eaten caught fire. Knowing that Luo Ting's belly was round, he lay powerless on the ground, gazing into the starry sky. There is no movement in cultivation, why? Why? Is it really that I am too useless? Luo Fan looked at Luo Gui, who had an irresistible aura, and secretly pursed his lips. Too fragile, my big brother's mood is too fragile. After digesting everything, Luo Fan's face darkened and he ignored Luo Fan. He returned to the place where he was practicing, secretly swearing in his heart that he would never leave the level without breaking through this time. In the Daming Palace, Zhu Biao rode his horse all the way to the Empress Ma Palace. After getting off the horse, he rushed in and saw 2 people, one wearing the Emperor's dragon robe and yellow robe, and the other wearing the Empress's palace attire, snuggling inside the room. Zhu Biao was momentarily taken aback, then became furious. He was kind, but it didn't mean that anyone could wear his father's clothes and his mother's clothes in front of him, and still mess around in his mother's palace. As for these 2 people, are they his parents? Fuck it. His father is 54, his mother is 50, and their hair is all white. These 2 have black hair, one strong and the other graceful. How could they be his parents? Can people still rejuvenate? You too. Which palace servant are you? How dare you wear a dragon robe and phoenix crown, thinking that your life cannot grow. Old Zhu turned his head and was momentarily stunned when he saw his son's angry expression. Biao, what's wrong with you? Zhu Biao became even angrier and dared to call himself Biao. It's completely lawless. Zhu Biao searched around but couldn't find anything suitable. At this moment, Hu arrived. Zhu Biao suddenly pulled out Hu's long sword from his waist and was about to charge up to give these two shameless swords. Biao, are you going to kill your father and mother? A stern voice sounded, and Zhu Biao was stunned. He didn't hear old Zhu's voice, but he was too familiar with his own mother's voice. Clash. The long sword fell to the ground, and looking at the young and beautiful woman in front of him, Zhu Biao was confused and tentatively called out, Nyang. The frost on Empress Ma's face dissipated and she snorted. Dancing guns and playing sticks in the palace for my mother, you have made a name for yourself. Zhu Biao walked forward in disbelief. Mom, what are you doing? Empress Ma smiled and pointed to old Zhu beside her. It's all thanks to your father. Zhu Biao turned his eyes and his face became even more bewildered. Mom, isn't this Dad? It's probably some illegitimate son of Dad. Lao Zhu's face turned black as he watched his eldest son, who had not been physically assaulted for many years, suddenly itch his hands. Nonsense. This is your father. Can't my own husband still recognize him? Zhu Biao believed it at this moment, but his doubts were about to come out of his mind. His father was poor when he was young, and later he had to go to war. Jiang Luo was also worried about national affairs, and the old one was far beyond his age. Now, the person in front of me, with a dignified appearance, no wrinkles on his face, and a head of black hair, is actually his own father. No one doubts that it's my own brother. After all, it was his beloved eldest son. Old Zhu convinced himself hundreds of times to resist the idea of hitting his eldest son and let Hu retreat. He reached out his hand to Zhu Biao, and a round and rolling pill lay quietly in his palm. Take it. This is a medicine given by the immortal. Your mother and I took this and it turned out like this. The immortal showed mercy and calculated that you would also die young in 10 years. A total of 3 pills were given, including one for each of us, your mother, and you. Zhu Biao carefully took the pill and did not swallow it immediately. Dad, has this pill been checked? How can you and your mother swallow pills of unknown origin without permission? Chapter 8. The Storm of the Ming Dynasty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhu Biao often delves into the common people and knows that some elderly people, as they grow older, firmly believe in the teachings of immortals. As long as they include the word immortal, they will have no doubt. Although his father is an emperor, he is also a middle-aged man, and it is not uncommon for him to be deceived. Old Zhu snorted coldly upon hearing the words. You think we're old and confused, so naturally there's evidence to make us and your mother swallow it. With Lao Zhu's words, Zhu Biao no longer doubted and swallowed the pill directly. The pill melted at the entrance and flowed into his body through his throat. Zhu Biao felt a warm sensation all over his body, as if he was soaking in a wooden bucket filled with hot water in winter. After a moment, the main person opened their eyes and felt an unprecedented strength in their body, filled with inexhaustible energy. Looking in the mirror in the Empress Dowager's harem, he surprisingly became extremely young. He, who used to look middle-aged, has truly become in his 20s. The rebellious growth of a family of 3 failed to hide from the civil and military officials of the Manchu dynasty, and the Huaishi military general group almost rose up in arms, clamoring to kill this rebel who impersonated his elder brother. It was only through Lao Zhu's sharing of their past embarrassing experiences that these people believed that Lao Zhu was Lao Zhu. Luo Fan, who had saved the old Zhu family, looked very pale at the moment and felt like scolding his mother as he watched the group mission. Group Task. Kill the dragon, phoenix, and Qilin tribes. This task is a cumulative one, and each kill earns points rewards based on the cultivation of the slayer, including 10 points for Earth Immortal, 100 points for Heaven Immortal, 1000 points for True Immortal, 10,000 points for Gold Immortal, 100,000 points for Tai Gold Immortal, 1,000,000 points for the Luo Gold Immortal, and ** points for Mixed Yuan Gold Immortal. Saint, ** is this task for someone to do. Although the constant fighting among the three clans has resulted in a great loss of strength, it is not for Luo Fan, a golden immortal, to be able to compete with porcelain. And the most troublesome thing is not killing, but how to deal with the retaliation of the three tribes. When the members of the three tribes are killed, the assassins will be infected with the aura of the three tribes. As long as there is a fellow tribe nearby, they can immediately sense it, and then Luo Fan will have no way to heaven or earth. Hey, this chat group is all good, but generating group tasks based on one's own world is really a headache. In this vast and powerful world, I am still too weak. Luo Fan is pondering how to quickly earn points. Currently, it seems that unless he is lucky enough to encounter the low difficulty and high reward task of assisting Yingzheng in destroying the 6 kingdoms before, he can only earn points by signing in. Beggar Emperor. At Demon Ancestor Lord, are you there? Demon Ancestor. What's wrong? Beggar Emperor. Well, we know that I shouldn't have asked too much for your favor before, but we have many children and many brothers, so last time we wanted some more of your elixir. Eternal Emperor. Lao Zhu, the last pill was given to you by the Demon Ancestor only after seeing that you were eager to save your wife. What are you doing now? Luo Fan didn't speak, but Yingzheng spoke first. Last time, Luo Fan directly gave old Zhu the elixir, which had already made Yingzheng jealous. Although he had the cultivation techniques given by Luo Fan and didn't have much demand for elixirs, he couldn't resist Luo Fan giving him too much. He only had 1 pill, and old Zhu didn't finish a few words before he got 3. Moreover, he couldn't even ask Luo Fan for help, as he had many children. Unexpectedly, the newly arrived Emperor Zhu felt embarrassed to ask. Beggar Emperor. No, it's not a plea. We also know the preciousness of such pills, so our idea is to buy them. We just want to see if it's feasible with Lord Demon Ancestor. Demon Ancestor. How do you want to buy it? Beggar Emperor. I've been thinking for a long time these days, and you probably don't like the yellow and white things. We only have points as compensation. Look at this, I'll buy this pill with points, and you can set the price. Is that okay? A flash of inspiration flashed in Luo Fan's mind. Yes, it's difficult to obtain points for himself, but Lao Zhu and even Jinggu are emperors of a country, and their world tasks are easy to do. Luo Fan once talked to Yingzheng about tasks, which were all about searching for various herbs and treasures. It is estimated that Lao Zhu's side was also similar. These tasks may seem difficult for ordinary people to complete, but for Lao Zhu and Yingzheng, they can be said to be extremely simple. So their points acquisition is much simpler than Luo Fan's. Just like a while ago, Jinggu accumulated tens of thousands of points, while himself only had the point of signing in points, which left him feeling unbalanced for a long time. Demon Ancestor. Sure, I can take out the pill and you can purchase it with points. Lao Zhu saw Luo Fan's reply and was overjoyed. He quickly replied. Beggar Emperor. Xie Mozu Yingzheng looked at the conversation between the two and was also tempted. He quickly asked, Eternal Emperor. Demon Ancestor, can I also participate in the purchase? Demon Ancestor. Naturally. Eternal Emperor. Can the talismans that were previously given to me, Demon Ancestor, be bought or sold? Beggar Emperor. Talisman. What is this? Why haven't we seen it? Eternal Emperor. Previously, my plan to sweep through the 6 kingdoms began, but we attacked K and were hindered. Thanks to the talisman bestowed by the Demon Ancestor, we were able to solve the problem. Beggar Emperor. Participating in war attacks. What is the use of this talisman? Old Zhu was curious and could influence wars. He believed that such a weapon was also necessary. Although the Ming dynasty was established, its strength was strong, but it did not mean that there were no strong enemies around it. If this talisman could influence wars, then the Ming dynasty would truly stand at the top of various countries, worthy of the name of the Heavenly Kingdom. Eternal Emperor. According to Wang Jian, after the talisman is torn open, four immortals will appear. Initially, Wang Jian requested the help of immortals to attack K and the city. With a wave of his hand, a huge palm print fell from the sky, covering the entire city. The rebels were wiped out on the spot, without any omissions. Old Zhu was shocked, huge palm print falling from the sky, covering the entire city. This is a myth, right? Beggar Emperor. Demon Ancestor, we also want it, we also want to buy it. Demon Ancestor. Yes, you can purchase from me with points if you need it. Beggar Emperor. Thank you, Demon Ancestor. Eternal Emperor. Thank you, Demon Ancestor. At this moment, Luo Fan was full of enthusiasm, as if feeling countless points waving at him. Now there were only Yingzheng and Lao Zhu, perhaps not many points, but this chat group seemed to attract one person every 3 years. As long as there were no people higher than him in this vast world, then he was a monopolistic industry. Monopoly is equivalent to instant wealth, isn't it? Luo Fan began to think about pricing. The price cannot be high, but it cannot be low either. If the quantity is high, it cannot be started, and if the points are low, it will be slow. After thinking for a while, Luo Fan had a decision in his heart. Demon Ancestor. 10 pills, priced at 1,000 points each, 10 talismans, priced at 50 points each. Eternal Emperor. Beggar Emperor. Chapter 9. Doing Business. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yingzheng and Lao Zhu issued a question mark, and Luo Fan was stunned. Is his pricing too high? Sure enough, although it's relatively easy for them to earn points, they may still be struggling with this price. After a moment of thought, Luo Fan suggested that in order to expand our expenses, let's lower the price with small profits and high sales. Eternal Emperor. Demon Ancestor, is this price so cheap? You didn't send it wrong, did you? Beggar Emperor. That's right, the price is indeed not high. I had originally planned to accumulate it for a long time, but unfortunately, we thought too much. Demon Ancestor is kind. Eternal Emperor. The Demon Ancestor has a kind heart and cannot bear to make things difficult for us. He has set the price so low. I had previously thought that the Demon Ancestor would release a sky-high price, so it seems that my situation is too low. Watching the conversation between Yingzheng and Lao Zhu, Luo Fan's eyes widened. Demon Ancestor. How many points do you have now? The first Emperor of the Ages. I now have over 120,000 points. Since unifying the 6 countries, the speed of obtaining points has increased significantly, with 70,000 to 80,000 points earned almost every month. Beggar Emperor. I have fewer, only 80,000 points, but I should earn a lot of points every month, and there should also be 70,000 or 80,000 points. Luo Fan. Dog Tycoon. These two are big dog owners. 7 or 8,000 points a month, and when he arrives, he kills 7 or 8 golden immortals in a month. What kind of human suffering is this? Even Luo Fan, who understands that he has set a low price, is not good at changing the price. After all, we need to maintain our image as experts, and starting from the ground is really not suitable. And this thing has a relatively low cost. Pills, twisted and talismans drawn by hand, they may not be at a loss, but they will definitely make a profit on their own. Demon Ancestor. That's all for the price, there's no mistake in writing. If you need it, you can say, I'll send it out. Eternal Emperor. I need all 10 pills and 10 talismans. Beggar Emperor. First Emperor, what should we do if you take everything? Why do you take everything? Eternal Emperor. In terms of joining the group, I am earlier than you. In terms of identity, I am the first Emperor, and you are all my descendants. So, what is the problem with giving everything to me this time? Beggar Emperor. Bullshit. We are all emperors, regardless of whether we are the first or 10th, why are you more noble than us? Also, we don't have the surname Ming, what kind of younger generation are we? We don't accept the practice of relying on the old to sell the old, and we are all group friends. Considering our age, we are in our 50s, and we cannot determine who is older. Eternal Emperor. Bold. Imprudent younger generation, if you come to Daqin, I will make sure you look good. Beggar Emperor. What kind of recklessness? You come to Daming, no, you don't need to come to Daming. Let's find someone to search for the tomb of Emperor Qin. If it bothers us, let's go dig the soil. Luo Fan looked at the two people arguing in the group and seriously doubted whether they were emperors. How can it be like a shrew cursing the street? Demon Ancestor. Calm down, let's have a good conversation. We are all customers, and Luo Fan has a strong customer maintenance spirit. We are all sheep, so don't argue anymore, okay? Demon Ancestor. Each of you has 10 pills and 10 talismans. It's just a matter of putting in some effort, no need to argue. The two of them are truly emperors. 1 second they argued until their faces turned red and their necks became thick. The next second they achieved their goal and started chatting happily again. It took Luo Fan 2 seconds to prepare 20 pills and 20 leaf talismans, which were divided into 2 parts and placed in the group. Yingzheng and Lao Zhu also sent their points in the form of red envelopes to the group, and Luo Fan claimed them one by one. Brothers, everyone understands the pleasure of receiving red envelopes. After clicking on it, Luo Fan let out a light sigh and calculated it casually. There were 10 pills, totaling 10,000 points, 10 talismans, totaling 500 points. In total, Yingzheng and Lao Zhu should each give themselves 10,500 points, but the number of red envelopes was incorrect. Lao Zhu paid 20,000 yuan, while Yingzheng directly hit 50,000 yuan. Later, Luo Fan chuckled lightly, truly deserving of being the emperor. The act of buying people's hearts was extremely smooth, and Luo Fan did not criticize it. Pills and talismans can all be sold for money, and it's very easy to make. You can definitely explore more products and do business on your own, which is much faster than earning points by working hard on tasks. In the following time, Luo Fan became addicted to buying and selling, unable to extricate himself, and developed countless products. Yanshou Dan is a pill originally sold to Yingzheng and Lao Zhu, priced at 1,000 points. Healing Pill, a pill that can bring life and death to human flesh and bones. Even if one dies, as long as the divine soul is still in the body, it can be saved within 7 days, with 100 points. Rampage Pill, after swallowing, doubles its strength, blocks pain, and lasts for 10 hours. It is a must-have for combat, with 200 points. The Yufeng Pill, after taking it, feels like an invisible layer of armor, lasting for 10 hours with 100 points. Attack Symbol. Use the heavenly descending giant palm, with a maximum range of 10 square kilometers and 50 points. Defense Symbol. Generate a range defense shield after use, with 50 points. Space Symbol. After use, you can move space, transport items, and even live people within a range of 100 kilometers, earning 200 points. Hidden Talisman. After use, it appears invisible, conceals breath, lasts for 1 hour, and earns 50 points. In addition, there are many more. There are a total of 100 types of elixirs in the forest, and there are also over 30 types of talismans. Luo Fan can directly earn more by relying on these. As for how much he has earned, you can see from his current cultivation level 6 in the middle stage of Tai Golden Immortal, which is several 100,000 points. It's only less than a year. Luo Fan looked at his own brother who was still practicing crazily, and he didn't know what kind of expression he had when he woke up and saw his cultivation, as if he had been struck by lightning. Time flies like a shuttle, and Luo Fan feels that he has been in the world of the wilderness for a long time. The concept of time has become weaker and weaker. After all, there is still no time for cultivation, let alone Luo Fan, who is already in a fairyland. At this point, Luo Fan's realm was already that of the great Luo Golden Immortal. It was only then that he realized the drawbacks of the chat group. The points mall could allow him to continuously improve his cultivation, but once he reached the great Luo Golden Immortal realm, simply improving his cultivation could no longer continue. After being promoted to the realm of the great Luo Golden Immortal, Luo Fan felt that he couldn't control the power he was enhancing, but he didn't know why. If we want to make a metaphor, it's like he's a bottle, and water is cultivation. When the water inside the bottle is full, any excess water will overflow, and he can't wrap around this force. Luo Fan opened the chat group, where everyone was chatting enthusiastically, but Luo Fan did not participate. This chat group brings in a new member every 3 years, but even now, there are still 3 people in the group. It's not because there's not enough time or the mechanism has disappeared, but because people are gradually coming in and may disappear. According to Luo Fan's understanding, it should be death. For example, the 4th person who came in was actually Zhu Biao, the son of Zhu Yuanzhang, but not his son. One reason is that this Zhu Biao is the crown prince Zhu Biao of the Ming Dynasty from another time and space. At first, old Zhu in the group thought that 2 of his family had entered the group, but after inquiring indirectly, he found out that it was not. Chapter 10. Luo Gui's Autism. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Old Zhu remembered that Luo Fan had once told him about Zhu Biao's death due to illness. He didn't know if it was because of his own son or some other reason. Old Zhu bought a pill from his own pocket to give to Zhu Biao from another time and space. Perhaps out of caution or filial piety, he gave it to his parents, and Zhu Biao's name disappeared one day. According to calculations, it was the age at which Zhu Biao died in history. Coincidentally, the appearance of Fusu was also in the same situation. Luo Fan speculated that it was most likely that the pill was dedicated to Qin Shi Huang in that time and space. In addition, there is also a survivor of the apocalypse who, after going out to explore, disappeared and may have died from the outside world. A woman from an ancient harem, chatting well the day before, suddenly disappeared the next day, possibly due to a palace battle. There are still a few examples of this, but what makes Luo Fan curious is that chat groups send messages consciously. Is it possible that these people all happened to die unexpectedly, very quickly, and didn't have time to seek help in the group? After all, those who come in will understand through the introduction of Yingzheng or Lao Zhu. There is a fairy in the group, one holding the sun and moon, and one stepping on the Milky Way, who can refine pills and understand talismans. When encountering danger, one can completely seek help from Luo Fan. Luo Fan cannot help but have no information and disappear silently. A sudden movement interrupted Luo Fan's thoughts, and black thunder kept appearing in the sky. A huge demon appeared on Luo Fan's body, roaring upwards. Luo Yan opened his eyes, there was no trace of white in his eyes, full of deep black, like a black hole. Ha ha ha, I truly deserve to be the son of Qi Luck. I have entered the realm of cultivation very quickly. In just a few decades, I have broken through the level and become the 2nd level of the 1st level of the Luo Golden Immortal Realm. It's not surprising that Luo Gui is proud. The great Luo Jin Fairyland may seem like a 1st level change, but it's not simple. At least it's accumulated for millions of years, and at most it's impossible to break through in a lifetime. After decades of hard work, he was promoted to a higher level in the Luo Golden Fairy Realm, which is enough to stand proudly at the top of all the creatures in the wilderness. Luo Yan couldn't help but look at his 2nd younger brother, wanting to see a series of expressions such as surprise and envy in his eyes. But what Luo Yan didn't expect was that his younger brother had no intention of paying attention to him and lay quietly in the center of a black lotus, closing his eyes and taking a nap. Luo Yan felt like his mood was instantly very bad, as if a primary school student had finally scored 100 points on the exam, ran home excitedly, and then found out that his parents were not at home. This guy. He doesn't pay much attention to his big brother. Luo Yan gritted his teeth and broke through on his own. Surprisingly, this younger brother was sleeping. There was such a big stir, and Luo Yan deliberately didn't suppress the illusion, creating such a big spicy illusion. Surprisingly, his younger brother was 1 point. Reverse. Yes. Everyone. No, have Luo Ting has decided that he should teach his younger brother well. What does it mean to be a respected brother? With Luo Ting's eyes wide open, the aura of the Luo Jingxian swept out, and with Luo Ting as the center, the ground instantly collapsed by 100 meters. In Luo Yan's view, although his younger brother has amazing talent, he is too lazy and his realm becomes more and more difficult to improve. After decades of hard work, his younger brother can only reach the Tai Golden Immortal realm at most. That's all, he guessed. At the level of dreaming, reality is absolutely impossible. Luo Fan has already made up his mind. When Luo Fan is suppressed by his realm and his face is flustered, he will appear again and show his dignity as a brother. However, Luo Ting was confused. He found that his authority had disappeared in front of Luo Fan, not to mention being suppressed. Even the wind had not lifted a single strand, and Luo Fan's hair did not move. What is the situation? Has the pressure failed? That's not right, all the spirit beasts around have been crushed out of their dead fish eyes, indicating that the pressure is effective. But the only good news is that Luo Fan has opened his eyes. Big brother, are you awake again? Luo Yan. Luo Yan is speechless. Is it human language when he opens his eyes? What does it mean to wake up again? I broke through and woke up, isn't that right? What is your helpless tone like when you see a child who just fell asleep wake up again? Luo Yan glanced at Luo Fan's cultivation, but found that he couldn't see it. Second brother, why can't I see your cultivation? Have you obtained any treasure for isolation and exploration? Luo Fan looked strange. No, you're in seclusion. I haven't even gone out during that time. Where are you going to get the treasure? Why can't I see your cultivation level? Oh, I guess it's because I'm also in the great Luo Jin Wonderland. Luo Ting nodded. Oh, I see. I said, how could I possibly not be able to? In the middle of speaking, Luo Yan's eyes widened and his mouth widened, just like the dead fish out of the water. What are you talking about? Did you go to the great Luo Jin fairyland? Luo Fan was helpless and didn't want to explain, but the pressure of the realm was released. Luo Gui is autistic, this time he is truly autistic. He worked hard to cultivate and remained in seclusion for decades, finally breaking through level 1. Now, Luo Fan tells him that he is also in the great Luo Golden Fairyland. So what did he cultivate? Loneliness. Decades of hard work and cultivation have been applied to dogs. Is this special? Am I the son of luck? Am I? My second brother is the one. I just appeared by chance. Watching Luo Fan's face full of lovelessness, Luo Fan had already figured out a way to comfort him. He knew that his glass-hearted elder brother would wake up and become autistic when he saw his cultivation. If he didn't comfort him, his Tao heart would probably shatter into pieces. With a big wave of his hand, Luo Fan saw countless spiritual fruit and grass floating in the air, resembling a small mountain. Inside, there were countless heavenly spiritual fruit and grass, even many innate spiritual fruit and grass. Big brother, I improve my cultivation quickly because these spiritual fruits and herbs save me a lot of accumulated time, so my realm upgrades are very fast. Luo Ting suddenly realized and said, how could an ordinary person upgrade so exaggerated? It turns out that with these aids, it's reasonable. As for whether it's true or not, Luo Yan doesn't care. Just have a reason to get by. Why go to the bottom of the matter and break through the sand pot and ask to the end, do you think so? Seeing Luo Fan regain his confidence, Luo Fan also breathed a sigh of relief. Hey, big brother, being a younger brother is very worried. Big brother, I have a question about my recent cultivation. Just as big brother woke up, I wanted to ask him. Upon hearing this, Luo Yan pursed his lips and his eyes turned red. How could I be moved to have the opportunity to teach my younger brother? Can't help but cry. What's going on? Second brother, feel free to ask. Big brother must know everything and say everything without hesitation. Luo Fan was overjoyed and spoke about how his cultivation had improved, but his power was beyond his control. However, as he listened, Luo Fan shed tears once again. Envy too much. Others are in a state of mind and their cultivation is gradually accumulating. When it comes to their own younger brother, it's the opposite. When their cultivation is reached, their state of mind is not.